Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Thank you for joining me on the very first Prime Life Project podcast. This is actually the second time I recorded this because I've just recorded it and I forgot to press the record button. So thank you for joining me on this very first episode. My name's Daniel James. I am the owner of the Prime Life Project, and today I just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight into what this is all about, because this is a very important topic for me. This is something I've been thinking about for a very, very long time. It's something that's very close to my heart. And when I explain my story, a bit of my background and where I've come from, I think you'll see why it's something that's so important to me. So, as I said, my name's Daniel James, and I've been in the fitness industry for about 7 years, and I basically applied my trade and became what I would class as the coach I am now, from working at a place called M10 Fitness. So M10 Fitness is probably one of the most prestigious personal training companies in the country, based out of Nottingham. And while I was there, I was able to get amazing results. I was able to learn how to get amazing results with clients. I was learning biochemistry, I was learning all the training techniques, making sure the nutrition plans, everything was absolutely spot on. But the ratio of clients to results I was getting wasn't up to scratch. And it puzzled me, but I didn't understand why. I just assumed it was the client's fault. You know, I'm doing everything I can do, but the clients weren't keeping their end of the bargain. But it's only when I went through my own personal trauma, whatever you want to call it, that I really now started to understand what was missing. And it's basically then become my, let's call it an obsession, to help as many people as possible. And that's why I've set the Prime Life Project up. I've set the Prime Life Project up to help as many people as possible. And this podcast is about that. It's about you. This podcast is about me adding as much value as I can to you and giving you little snippets and nuggets to help you improve the quality of your life and become the best version of you, because that's ultimately all I want. I want for you to become the best version of you. So for me, I came down this journey because I moved about 2.5 years ago. I moved a girl down from Manchester. You know, as you do, you fall head over heels. I hadn't known her long. This is one of those things where when I tell you the story, you're going to think, what on earth is wrong with this guy? So didn't know her very long, probably knew her about a month. And I thought, you know what, let's move her in with me. So I ended up buying a flat that I couldn't afford. Moved her down and it all went wrong. So she suffered from severe anxiety and severe depression, which I didn't know about at the time. She was taking medication, but she wasn't taking it while she was with me. And to cut a long story short, things got very intense very quickly, let's say, and she wasn't in a good place. And we tried to get help, but the waiting list for the NHS was something like 12 weeks. So here's a person that's crying out for help, begging for help, and there's a 12-week waiting list. To cut a long story short, police got involved and I ended up getting her arrested. And I did not deal with this well at all. I sort of suppressed it very deeply and did what most guys do, and stupidly just went out with somebody else very soon after, without dealing with what had just happened. And from there, I got into a very, very dark place. I was manipulated very heavily in the second relationship I was in, and it led me to a very, very dark place. Now, at the time, externally, if you looked at my life and if you looked at my Instagram, which you still can do, I've deliberately kept my Instagram exactly the same as how it was. So if you look at all the business stuff and you scroll down, keep scrolling down, you'll see at the bottom, all my modeling pictures are still there. So when I was modelling, I still do model technically. I was with an agency, very high-end photo shoots I was doing. I've done stuff for Ann Summers, and there's one particular photo shoot that I remember. I was on the front cover of a magazine, and I was with these two girls, absolutely stunning. On the front cover of the magazine, I was topless, and my body, when I look back in hindsight, looked fantastic. But at the time, if you'd have asked me, what do I think of my body? Wasn't happy. Was not happy at all. And I cried before the photo shoot, and I cried after the photo shoot because I was that miserable. I was that unhappy with myself and within my own skin. And I remember doing clients at the time, and I would deliberately cancel sessions because I just wanted to sleep. I did not want to be awake. Now, I didn't feel suicidal. I just did not want to be awake. I would avoid society at all costs. I would skip social events. I'd cancel on friends. I'd cancel clients unnecessarily. Anything to just keep me in my bed, because if I was asleep, I did not have to deal with the thoughts that were in my head. It was that simple. And I knew nothing about psychology. I knew nothing about how the brain works. I knew nothing about anything. I just thought I need to man up, stop being a fucking pussy, and I'll snap out of it. Because that's what I'd always done. Having these depressive tendencies, I just used to snap out of it. But this time I wasn't going anywhere. And I was really suffering for, I would say, 4 to 5 months in this dark place, and I still don't actually know what happened to get me out of it, if I'm completely honest with you. I'll tell you what, yes I do. I don't know. I'll tell you what, I realised I'd isolated myself so much that I needed to try and integrate myself in society. So I actually took a job working at a pub. So there's me, personal training. I just worked at this most prestigious personal training company in the country. I'd got all these transformations, and I was working at a pub. But I needed to because I couldn't actually pay my bills. I was that broke. I'd racked up that much debt. I couldn't actually afford this flat I was in. I was in complete denial. But what I knew I needed to do was integrate myself back with society. And that's exactly what I did. No one at this place knew that I was in a bad place, apart from one person that picked up straight away. And she basically took me under her wing. She's an old lady, about 40 years old, 42, 43. And she took me under her wing. And that's when I really got to grips. I was slowly drip feeding myself into society. But again, being awake, being conscious, but taking my mind off what was going on inside my mind, if that made sense. So from then, I've then been on a personal mission to help as many people as possible not feel how I felt. And that's what this podcast is all about. It's about me sharing my story with you guys. Not necessarily my story, but basically sharing what I've learned and passing it on to you guys so it can help you with your fat loss goals. Because how many times have you set yourself up to achieve what you want to achieve? Let's say, we're starting the year. So how many people started the new year saying they're going to try and get to the gym, lose some weight, but it never ever happens? That voice inside the head niggles away at you, eats away at you, and absolutely cripples you. Then you start to hate yourself, and then you end up the rest of the year miserable, beating yourself up, thinking you're a failure. And you then compile that with looking at all stuff on social media, your Love Island, whatever it is, and you basically go around life feeling absolutely shit. And I want to put an end to that. I want to help you. This is about you. So I've got some amazing guests lined up. I've got a guy called Juggy, who is the Indian body coach. So he's going to talk about the vegetarian vegan diet. Now, I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan, but I know a lot of people out there are becoming vegetarian and vegans. So our main topic of discussion is going to be like vegetarian 101, essentially. What should you do? What shouldn't you do? And I've also got a very good friend of mine who is a holistic psychologist and counsellor. And we're going to really look into these limiting beliefs that may be crippling you, stop you along your fat loss journey. But then along the way, I'm going to help you with your fat loss. I'm going to share my knowledge. I'm going to get some industry experts in as well, so we can have a conversation so that you can get the results that you want and become the best version of you. That's all I want. I want you to progress and become the best version of you. This podcast is all about me adding value to you. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then please subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. I'm aiming to do one of these a week, and essentially I'm going to try and alternate it between me doing one and adding value and having a guest on. So it's going to be released every single Sunday at this time. So like I said, subscribe on YouTube channel, subscribe on whichever podcast platform you're listening to. But essentially, I just want to help you guys. I want you guys to find your purpose, find your passion, and just get the results that you want and feel great. My thing is, if I can help you even the slightest bit improve your overall day and outlook on life, then I've done my job, and so is the podcast. So until next time, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Daniel_James_fitness. I'd like to thank you again for listening to me, and I'll catch you next time. Take it easy.